In the last meeting, we had our beloved Dr. Suresh Sawant sir. He shared his experience with the alumni in the RIT and how the thing got changing from 1987 to 2021. And his students from all the batches also shared the experience about him and about the college. So it was really interesting and overwhelming session. There is one announcement that, as you already know, maybe you have seen on our social media platforms, we are arranging one session for education and life in Canada from our overseas community. After the sessions like general overview of overseas higher research studies, emerging technologies, and deep dive in USA. This is the fourth session from overseas community, and it will be very very informing for like admission processes, eligibility criteria, what are the requirements, and some country specific regulations, and the overall lifestyle of students in the Canada. There will be alumni from Dalhousie University, Concordia University, and University of Calgary, and mostly in the areas like supply chain management, mechanical engineering, and computer science. So we have opened the registrations link. It will be pasted in the chat after some time, and the last date for the registration is 27th May. It is open for all the students, even from outside the RIT, and parents are also welcome to join, and it is totally free of cost. So please register today only. So now we have two presenters from Business Forum. So quickly for Business Forum, so RIT Alumni Advisory Business Forum, it gives opportunity for the startups and some alumni in industries to present their work in our forum and to expand their networking and to get some help and to discuss some upcoming trends and technologies in the industry. So our first speaker is Mr. Swapnil Kardile. He is from Department of Mechanical Engineering, passed out in 2018. Currently, he is working as CEO in Rajaram Bioenergy, which is a leading manufacturer of biomass pellets and biomass briquettes. Our another speaker is Mr. Vivek Lad. He is from Department of Automobile Engineering, passed out in 2017. He is a co-founder as well as director in marketing and sales in EDMRC Manshaft Limited, which is a company of EDMRC Group, and it is leading in electrical rickshaw, manufacturing electric rickshaw and electric cart in the India. So without taking much time, I would like to invite Mr. Swapnil Kardile for his presentations. Swapnil, I want to request you to please share your screen and start with the presentation.
Yes, okay. So hi to everyone. This is Swapnil here.
Yes, Swapnil, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank Mirza sir for inviting me on this platform and giving this opportunity to present my business over here. So introducing myself, my name is Swapnil Kardile.
Swapnil, just a second. Sorry for interrupting. Can you please share the screen in the full screen mode? It stopped, I guess.
Is it okay now?
Yes, okay. Thank you. Please go ahead.
So my name is Swapnil Kardile. I am 2018 mechanical batch pass out. So the name of my organization is Rajaram Bioenergy, and the main sector that we are currently working on is biofuels. So all fuels that we manufacture come directly from the biomass. So the location of the plant is in Islampur itself. So I have attached my contact number, and even further I will mention it. So talking about Rajaram Bioenergy, the company was formed in 2018. So the reason to form this company was basically during my batch when I was in final year, there was an entrepreneurship development program that was started by RIT. So the program was started to motivate people to move towards entrepreneurship and more than the normal jobs and everything. So that was a great opportunity for me at that time, as I was among the first students who enrolled for the program. So that made me that made me possible that I could start the business in 2018 itself, right after passing out of the university. So the vision and mission of Rajaram Bioenergy is we provide solutions to traditional LPG cooking by replacing it with eco-friendly and cost-saving technology of biomass-based cooking stoves. So basically what we want to say you is now don't use LPG cooking. Now we are offering you something known as biomass cooking stoves. You try to use that. Those are eco-friendly and those are also cost-saving. So the products that we offer, that is biomass pellets we offer the biomass stoves and burners. Basically these stoves and burners use the biomass pellets as a fuel. And the third thing that we offer is biomass briquettes. So in case if you are not aware how biomass pellets, briquettes and what all of these things are, so basically these are biomass pellets and these are biomass briquettes. So both these things, the name itself suggests biomass. That is completely we are using all the agro waste that is available nearby. That is we are using sugarcane trash in it, we are using bagasse in it, coffee husk, groundnut husk, and number of products we are using. And then we are coming down to this product. Now these are biomass pellets and biomass briquettes. So this is the stove that we offer. Basically these stoves are used by number of restaurants, caterers, hospitals and temples out there. Basically those people who have bulk cooking and who their bulk cooking is based on cost pricing basically. So those who are interested to save the cost, they all go for these biomass stoves. And the second product that we offer is biomass burner. So when we come down to this biomass burner, the burner is mainly used by frying industry. For example, in Kolhapur itself, there is 50 to 60 metric ton of business of biomass pellets. All those people are using biomass burner. And the main function, these 50-60 metric tons of consumption is going for just frying of farsan. So all the farsan industries out in Kolhapur, all those people have converted themselves into biomass burners. And even if you go to Haldiram, all the commodities that are fried by Haldiram, all those people are using biomass burners and biomass stoves for the frying of their products. So coming down to the next part, why to use biomass stoves and burners? Like all of us are currently using LPG, all the hotels are using LPG, and all of us are comfortable using LPG. Then what is the reason why should we stop using LPG and start using biomass stoves? So I have listed down few of the advantages of using these biomass stoves. So the first and most important thing is that we are offering you 50% savings when you compare it with LPG and diesel. For example, if you are cooking a dish, XYZ dish at 100 rupees, you use our stove and we will promise you that the cost of your LPG cost of cooking will reduce down to 50%. We will later discuss the calculations over it, how we came down to 50%. The second thing that we offer is eco-friendly. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, this is complete biomass. Like if we will not use it, people will burn it. So why not burn it in an effective and efficient way? So basically what we are attempting to do is we are trying to bring the eco-friendly thing in this and making the product more friendlier to the nature. The third thing is the biomass pellets and stoves are completely non-hazardous. Now, number of accidents are reported from most of the metropolitan cities. There is fire due to LPG and everything. Like the gas cylinder got burst and everything. So that thing will never happen with biomass pellet. Even if you store 100 tons, 1000 tons, 5000 tons, the pellets will never burn or themselves, or the pellets will never catch fire on their own. So when we started the business, these were the 3 points actually. These 3 points, 1, 2 and 3 were the points we were working on. There was no any other advantage that we could tell people. These were the only advantages. But suddenly out of nowhere we got an advantage, the fourth advantage. The fourth advantage was surprising for us also, that this improves the taste of the food. Now we never wondered how this can improve the taste of the food, because the food will remain the same, the ingredients will remain the same, the cook will remain the same. But still the taste of the food changes. Now the reason for this is, now all of us know Marathi here, so what we call it as Chulivarche Jevan. Now what is this Chulivarche Jevan and why does it taste better? Because the burning technology is not LPG. You are using something biomass, whatever is available. You are using wood, you are using other things, and that thing affects the taste of the food. So basically the fourth point turned out to be the most interesting point for us also, that the taste of the food changes. If you go for biomass stoves, the taste would be much better compared to the LPG stoves. So now all of you would be interested in the first part, like how can we offer 50% saving in this competitive world? So coming down to the LPG versus biomass pellets, this is the comparison chart basically. Now we agree that 1 kg of LPG will give tremendous heat when you compare with 1 kg of pellets. So what we suggest is don't use 1 kg of pellet, use 3 kgs of pellet, which will be equivalent to 1 kg of LPG. Coming down to the rate of LPG that is currently going on, it is 92 rupees. And I'm not talking about domestic cylinders that are way more subsidized actually. This rate is for the commercial cylinders that are used by many hotels out there. So the rate for LPG is around 1700-1800 rupees a cylinder for 19 kgs of cylinder. So the rate per kg of the cylinder will go up to 92 rupees, whereas pellets we are offering only at 15 rupees a kg. So you can see this difference. Yeah, I know that we will need to use this 3 times more, but still we are offering you something that is just 15 rupees a kg. Coming down to the total cost of cooking, when you use 1 kg of LPG at 92 rupees, the cost comes down to 92 rupees. And when you use pellets, that is 15 rupees a kg, and you use it 3 times, the cost comes down to 45 rupees. So eventually your saving is of 47 rupees, and when you calculate in percentage, the saving goes up to 51%. And this is proven, everything is done in this, and we also give demos to the people resulting in the savings and all. So this was with LPG. The same thing goes with diesel. Now, till now we have seen 51%, but now if you see with diesel, the saving with diesel goes up to 56%. Just because it is a small change, the heat released by diesel, 1 kg of diesel, is equal to 2.5 kgs heat released by the pellets. So again, the calculation remains the same. This is the current rate of diesel is considered here. And the pellet remains 15 rupees a kg, resulting into 48.5 rupees of savings. And the percentage-wise saving goes up to 56%. So this is the main crux of the business. What we offer is that we offer you 50 to 60% of saving in what you are using currently. But still the question arises that how efficient is this biomass stove? Like how is the flame, or how much heat is generated, how convenient it is. So to clear that idea, I have few videos to share to you. So this is the biomass stove basically. So you can look at the flame, and at the right also you can have a look at the biomass pellets. Biomass pellets are used to generate this flame out of the, just a minute. Basically the flame and everything, you can have a look at it here. And the second thing is biomass burner. So this is the biomass burner that is used. So the main thing to notice in this is we are burning agro waste. The agro waste that the farmer burns, and there is a lot of smoke is created in it. Same thing we are using, but there is no any evidence of smoke in this. Basically burning agro waste with a completely smokeless application, that was the most important thing in this. Basically you burn it you create a lot of smoke, you burn it in this burner and you create no smoke. So basically these are the operations that, this is a video presentation of the operations. So now coming down to the present scenario, like what Rajaram Bioneer is currently doing after 2 years of this, 2 years staying in this field. What we currently do is that our sales per annum is around 12,000 metric ton of biomass pellets and 15,000 metric ton of biomass briquettes per annum. And all these, the 12,000 metric ton of biomass pellets, we have 300 plus clients. Majority of these clients are restaurants, schools, colleges, caterers, hospitals, and temples. Like there are a number of temples that completely they have changed their cooking pattern. They have stopped using LPG, and all the temples are using biomass pellets. These 300 clients are based in different cities. There are 8 different cities that we are serving currently. And all these cities like Pune, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Vizag, Mysore, and Vijayawada, all these cities are served from Islampur plant itself. Like there are a number of distributors we are allocated in all these 8 cities. Those distributors distribute the pellets as well, and they also promote new technology of this biomass stove. Now coming down, these 300 clients or 12,000 metric ton of pellets was for these 300 clients. But what we do of this 15,000 metric ton of biomass briquettes? So basically, these are our customers for biomass briquettes. Currently, we are serving to PepsiCo, Kellogg's, Thermax, and Serum Institute, Pune. So these are the main 4 clients that we are serving when it comes to biomass briquettes. So coming down to what are our future plans, what we are aiming to do in this biofuel sector. Now what current plan we are doing is that we are trying to expand the capacity, which is currently around 25,000 per metric ton of biomass fuels. We are trying to expand it to 50,000 metric tons by the year 2023. The new plant is already under erection and it will be ready by 2021, mid of 2022. And the second thing was like, even though we are offering 50 to 60% saving, we still think there is a potential that we can increase the efficiency of the stove and result into 65 to 70% of saving when you compare it with LPG and diesel. The third and most important thing, why I tell everyone that this is the best sector to work in, because now government is providing subsidies for the collection of agro waste. As you would have witnessed that Delhi pollution, the main pollution was not the cars, the main pollution was the agro waste that was burnt in Haryana. So the agro waste that was burnt in Haryana, the smoke created, the pollution created by that agro waste burning, that resulted into the pollution, the rise in pollution in Delhi. So basically this sector has a lot of future in this to work on. And this is basically a never-ending sector. How much you invest it, how much you work the demand will always be there. So coming to the last thing was that alumni engagement. Like what do I expect from this meeting was that increasing business contacts. Now most of you people here are like too senior to me. Like I am 2018. Most of you would be passed out before me. So what I expect, like all of you are already at a very good positions, at a very commendable positions. And what I expected was that all you can think about this idea. Like many people would be working in food industry. Many of them would be working in a multinational company having canteens in it. So you can think of this idea of biomass stores to place this in your companies, in your godowns and everywhere, and save the cost that you are currently spending. Like you will save around 50% of cost what you are currently consuming the cost. The second thing was that internship and job offerings that Rajan Bioenergy can offer. Now the technology is not that great. The technology has scope to develop. But the thing we are still lagging is that we don't have that market. Like we are selling 12,000 tons, but if I am saying that I can give you 50% saving, but still there is no market. There is not that good market. The market potential when we suggest to people that we are giving you 50% saving, the market should be too much high, and there is always a scope to increase this market. So we are always interested in the marketing side of these biomass pellets. The third thing, as mentioned earlier, was sponsored projects could be about making these biomass stores efficient. Currently 50-60 is the goal, what we are working. But if this goes up to 60 and 70%, and even if we don't work in this sector, eventually it will grow, because if all you are witnessing the rise in price of diesel and LPG, eventually the saving gap will keep on increasing. There will be a point when the savings will be completely 100%. Like what you are spending, you don't spend that much money in this. And second thing was, now we are thinking of expansion. We are thinking of going from 25,000 tons to 50,000 tons. So the main task would be the biomass segregation and collection. Till now it was easy to collect 25,000 tons of biomass was easy, but now suddenly increasing this in a year, that will be a task for us, and that we will need to focus in future. So these two projects we are also working on our end, and we would also like RIT to help us to bring these projects actually to working and all. So this is my contact information. I have mentioned my mail ID and the company address as well as I have mentioned here. Yeah, so thank you. So if anybody want to get some clarifications over that, they can ask.
Thank you very much, Swapnil. Yes. I just want to request that please put your contact ID and email ID in the chat so people can connect you with that.
Sure.
Really interesting presentations. You can have a look at compliments in the chat box from our attendees. So I'm sure that many of us may have some queries and questions to ask to Swapnil, but I just want to move towards our second speaker first, and after that we will have open discussion forum. So I would like to request Mr. Vivek Lad to take the charge and
yes. So, am I visible and am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes.
both of you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mirza sir and Manali, to giving this opportunity to me to present in front of all of you. So, without waiting, I'll start. Just a minute.
Yes.
First of all, Swapnil, it was a really great presentation and about your insights. I would really like to connect with you after this, where we can talk on the further plans. So, starting with it, I'm Vivek Lad. I'm alumni of RIT, and I was a automobile engineering student and passed out in 2017. So my company name is EDMRC, Admar Group, and I'm the co-founder of the company, where I look after for marketing and sales for now. As being in a startup within co-founders, you have to like do everything, each and everything in your company. So this is my contact number. I will also share my mail ID later on. So starting with that, so how this all started. So first was when we were into automobile engineering, we got introduced to some of the competitions in the college. And first was the National Karting Championships, where we have to design and develop the go-karts and we have to present them on the national level. So where we got introduced, like karting was from our seniors, where they had formed a team, and that was the first team founded in RIT, that was Lufthansa Racing. So it was really great to be connected with this team later on, where we got to develop our interest in automobiles. So later on, increasing our development in automobile sector, the interest turned to us to take jobs. While working in this organization, we were also doing our college too. So these were some organizations down there where AMK Industries, Ames Automotive, Elite Karting, and RCDC India, where while having our education, we were working with these organizations for technical assistance and also business development. Where in AIMS at Automotive, we used to teach engineering students about vehicle dynamics and all, where we also support them to develop small go-karts or Baja vehicles from scratch to testing levels. So later on, in last year, we were the same team where we were developing Trio hybrid bike, where a single vehicle, a bike which can it can be driven by electric source, engine one, and also third one was the manual one. So while working on this project, we got to know many of the basic things from of electric vehicles, and we got to tend in this sector very harshly. So while working on this project, there was one localite we met, where he was just looking at our project, and he got to know, like, is there anything you can do for me where you can develop me a vehicle, a transport vehicle, where I can use it for my intercity or or the local premises you can use. So that was the idea, where we got to know where yes, we can make such kind of vehicle, and he also wanted it to be a cheap one as compared to the gasoline engine vehicles. So we got an initial idea from that, where already we had we had developed one Facebook page of ADMRC, that was Automotive Design and Manufacturing Research Center. So there was this organization we found just for fun initially, where we used to take resumes or some kind of design developments which we can do in this organization. But later on, we also worked on some other household products too, where we got a patent on one product, that was utensil washing gloves. So that was a point where we thought, like, just focusing on automobile sector, we can go into engineering where any kind of products can be done. So that ADMRC become EDMRC, where he designs the engineering. So the company name is Engineering Design and Manufacturing Research Center. So this was our journey where we passed out in 2017. Soon after that, we were giving one workshop in Delhi, where we got to know about more about electric rickshaws. So after the workshop got ended, did a small market research there, where we got to know about the market, how the electric rickshaws are running on the roads of Delhi, and how they are benefiting the rickshaw drivers. So that was an like really impressive things which we got from the reviews from the rickshaw drivers itself. So there was one review from a normal CNG driver was he himself told that e-rickshaw drivers are earning more than us, as the short distance traveling are very famous there. So he himself was earning just 600 to 700 rupees per day, whereas e-rickshaw driver was earning almost 1500 rupees to 2000 rupees per day. And that was the point where we got to start thinking on like why this are not that developed here in Maharashtra. So we got to know that there were many loopholes here, as Maharashtra people are a bit different than the northern part of the country, as the consumer behavior here are much different, as here rickshaw drivers are also literate one, and they go through every product selection by going through the whole specifications and the whole life thing, where this kind of things are not mostly done by the people or the drivers in northern section of the country, where we can consider the locations like Delhi, UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, where the literacy rate is very much low. So we decided to form a company, and at the end of the year 2017, we established this one. The whole 2018, we developed the first prototype, and also made different 2 to 3 prototypes, where we made that prototype ready for testing. So everyone knows ARAI, right? So where the whole automobile sector is connected for the testing sections and the development. So just like ARAI, there are almost 4 organizations all over India where they test the vehicles, or the government testing centers there, to test the vehicles and give them approvals to decide that are these vehicles trustworthy and to be run on the road. So we got a late approval from ARAI. So at the same time, we approached ICAT. ICAT is International Center for Automotive Technology, which is considered an northern section of ARAI. So we have tested, we given our vehicles for testing there. So it took almost 6 to 8 months to test our both vehicles, that is electric passenger and electric goods carrier. These are the 2 products which we got tested from ICAT. So the whole year was gone in testing, and the 2019 January we got approval from ICAT for this company's products. So later on, we took some time of 4 months where we took feedbacks of people on this product for the same, where they tested our products and gave many informative reviews, where we got to know what we have to change in our vehicles now. So we have done some specs upgradation in the vehicle, and we made it according to the consumer behavior here in Maharashtra. And later on, 2019 January to 2019 July, this time took us for the reviews of the market, and then later on we started selling our vehicles. So our first vehicle was sold to Nanded city, which is in neighborhood Pune, where they had purchased this vehicle for waste management. So that was our first customer. Later on, we started distributing these vehicles to all over Maharashtra and then Karnataka, where our first bulk order customer was from BRL, that is BRL Logistics, where they have been using our vehicles, almost 15 vehicles, for their last mile delivery in whole Hubli city. So this was our first prototype. So actually this was developed in Deshpande Industries, Karad. Like ML Deshpande sir helped us a lot for development of this first prototype. So this wasn't first thing which we worked on. So coming about Edmark, so that is Engineering Design and Manufacturing Research Center. So we are into leading electric rickshaw and e-cart manufacturers. So as being into automotive sector since 2015, so we have gotten rich experience where we can put in here into electric vehicles in the commercial sector, where this is a great opportunity for the coming entrepreneurs or the small SMEs where they want to start their own logistic companies or some same things where this product will be coming to their use. So our vision is to be more trusted brand in electric vehicles. Admark is product performance and services, where our mission is to empower people to accelerate world with our electric vehicles. So achievements are like we have a rich experience of in the automobile sector since half a decade. We have gotten approvals, testing approvals from ICAT. We are present in 4 states for now, but that is in Maharashtra, Karnataka, UP, and Bihar. We have strategic alliance with one of the best organizations where we have been working on these organizations. Now those are the strategic partners with us. And we have almost 100 plus customers where we have sold 100 plus vehicles where they are happy customers. And because of just the after sales service, which was the main motto of our company. As just the 2 motives were we have to focus on as compared to the northern section of the country, where product quality and after sales service, this were the 2 main loopholes in the northern section. So product quality which they developed, the same quality was being sent to the Maharashtra dealers, where the reason they didn't like the vehicle or the product was the same behavior of the rickshaw drivers are not being seen here. So the rickshaws of the quality which was made, that was not acceptable by the customers of Maharashtra. So that was a first failure for the northern companies dealer here. And second was the after sales service, where those companies were from the northern part of the country. So giving the after sales service here in Maharashtra or the southern part of the country was very difficult for them. So that was the time where soon the dealership starting to close. So that was the second motto. We have to start the manufacturing of the electric vehicles here. So these are the 2 products we have. One is Yuva, which is a passenger vehicle, and second is Meghdoot, that is a goods carrier. So both of the vehicles run almost 80 to 90 kilometers on a single charge, where we are giving an option of lead acid batteries and lithium-ion batteries for the both models. So it depends on the customers, like what they need, as there are their own benefits as compared to lead acid. Lithium-ion has its own benefits as it has fast charging, and it also has the warranty of 3 years for warranties, and very important thing for the customers. So as compared to northern products, vehicles capacities varies from 400 kgs to 600 kgs, where this product comes in use for any kind of small businesses like FMCG dealers, logistic companies for last mile delivery. So it's almost very cheap maintenance, where you just have to invest 150 to 200 rupees per month for maintenance of these vehicles. You don't need any kind of permit, where there wasn't one, the option here with the top gear was the same kind of problem which we faced here was the vehicles sold from the northern companies, they were same with there, but the problems faced by them was they were not climbing the gradients with the load in it. So there were many complaints we got to know. And there was one example in front of us only, there were one e-rickshaw driver was going from one gradient where his vehicle was not able to climb the gradient. So he has to he has to put down the passengers, he has to climb the gradient, and then he won't put the passengers again. So that was a very embarrassment for the vehicle, for the rickshaw driver. So we added a torque gear to these vehicles. So where they can use this torque gear on the any kind of gradient from 15 degrees to 20 degrees. With load, they can easily fly with the any kind of flyovers or the degrees of 15 degrees to 20 degrees. And the expenses here are 40 paisa per kilometer, as we say, as it varies from 40 paisa to 90 paisa. It depends on the road conditions and the driving experiences we have seen.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Can you just hide that pop-up from Google Meet?
Yes, yes, yes. Right. So these are the product variants which we have worked on. So it is a delivery van, then vegetable cart, garbage vehicle, ice cream carts or food carts, which we can say. Then these another type of garbage vehicles. There was a food cart, or this is an multi-purpose use vehicle where we can use it as a delivery cart, a food cart, or any kind of business you want to start from it. And these last two models, we select those in northern part of the country, as this same models have been famous there. So this is Yuva Deluxe and Meghdoot Deluxe. So yeah, these have the sales mostly in UP and Bihar. So what are the exceptional features we have as compared to the other products? One is we can climb it to up to 15 degrees just because of the top gear which we are using in the vehicle. Second is the front panel and the safety SRL board. Like as I said, here the front panel and the dashboard is what attracts the customers here in Maharashtra. Whereas this models in UP and Bihar, they don't have a front safety panels and dashboards, where this is quite of non-attractive things for the vehicles here. Third is the axle which we are using. It is has a much more wheel track, where it has the stability in the vehicles. As e-rickshaws have the more misconceptions, like these vehicles topples more. Yes, there are some of the accidents where vehicles topple just because the length of the vehicle is big and the width is small. But what we have done here, we have increased the wheel track where the toppling chances are very low. And also we have the different frame construction where we have a spring over construction where this stops the toppling issue and also gives us the stability. So financial advantages of a vehicle is, like, first biggest advantage is its low initial price. As we compare it to the normal CNG vehicles, the cost of CNG vehicle is almost 2,80,000 on road, where our vehicles are starting from 1,50,000 only. So there is an initial vehicle cost saving. So on that, you also save 84% less on fuel cost, whereas 60% less in maintenance, where you also have a 60% less in vehicle tax, where GST on this vehicles is just 5%, and you don't need to have permit on this vehicle. So koi permit ki jhanjat nahi hogi isme. And last is there is a tax benefit on this vehicles, that is almost up to 1.5 lakhs interest payment under section 80 EEB, where if you take this vehicles under finance, you can get almost a tax benefit up to 1.5 lakhs. So here, considering to CNG vehicle, an overall yearly savings is almost 85,000 per year. If we consider with diesel, it's more than that. So what makes us different from other vehicles? There are some factors I have mentioned. That is the rear carriage size. If we just consider the sector of commercial vehicles in goods carrier, where we have a specialty in Meghdoot, where our carriage volume is more as compared to the others, where loading capacity also 200 kgs as compared to others. The suspension arrangement here is spring over suspensions, where, as I told before, the risk of toppling has been reduced here. As also we use here 22 inches of leaf, where as compared to 19 inches in the others. Wheel track we have increased as in 35 inches of rear axle as compared to 33 inches of rear axle in other vehicles. And our main focus is on after sales services, as we have developed a special team of after sales services who've been experienced in after sales services so much. Like, we give an excellent service within 48 hours to any customers here in Maharashtra, where we have almost dealerships of five dealerships in Maharashtra, where we have trained them for after sales service and maintenance, and to give a promise of 48 within giving services within 48 hours. So this is what makes us different in Maharashtra and southern part of the country as compared to the other companies which are basically from northern part of the country. So these are some of our valued customers where VRL Logistics. They've been using our vehicles in whole Hubli city for now. AG Enviro is a company in Mumbai, and it's also in all over India. It's in second ranking company for waste management, where they have been using our vehicles for garbage collection. As the Nader City is one of our customers, where they have been using waste management vehicles. Almost 10 vehicles they have been purchased from us. There is a franchisee named Atwan Kulfi. They have been started franchising for using our vehicles. Yes, we have been proudly sold our vehicles to Indian Army too, where they have been using it in armed forces, medical services, Air Force, NDA, and almost 4 municipal corporations are using our vehicles for now. So this is our basic founder team, where we all 3 are classmates from 2017 batch, where Shubham Kamath looks after the research and finance part. I look after marketing and sales, and Rohan looks after design and manufacturing of the vehicles. Talking about the future, we are expanding from Maharashtra to Goa now. We are as this other, just a minute, I can. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So these are the. Just a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay. Okay. So these are the contact details from us. As we are open for dealerships and distributorships all over India. But basically, we have been focusing Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa for now. So what we are thinking from this alumni engagement is like we are already mentoring and coaching to the students, as some of the BBA students have been taking finance and marketing workshops from us. We're also giving internships and jobs too, as many of the students from last year automobile have gotten internships from our company. We have also given a job opportunity to one of other MTech student. The main agenda here is for funding and investment request. As you've been in the industry of automobile sectors, and also this is a multidisciplinary sector where if there is a connect, we are really happy to get connected for funding and investments for now. So we are also connecting with the alumni for the business contacts, as we are providing in business channel partnerships here. There's a huge opportunity in coming future where within 2030 the government had decided to complete this 3-wheeler sector into the complete electric sector. So there's a huge market in this industry. So thank you everyone. If you have any kind of doubts, you can ask.
Thank you very much. So we will immediately start with the discussion. I guess we already answered the question about the website. Vivek, you have some questions in our chat box. I will read out them one by one.
Yes.
So there's one question from Mr. Swapnil Chaudhary that how do you compete with Chinese products like spares for motors?
Yes. So most of the sourcing we have is developed here in Pune itself. But there are some parts which we can't make from our side, but 95% of the spare parts are from sourced in India itself. So yes, China is leading in the spare parts for now, as we have going through some of the connects here in Pune, where they have been developing the spares according to our needs. So yes, in coming futures, we'll be beating the spare parts from China.
And he continued his question, like any plan to address other market or segments such as two-wheeler, farm, earth moving, etc.?
So not in two-wheelers, as our main focus is to be focused on commercial vehicles, As two-wheelers are into personal vehicles, yes, it is having a huge market now, but there could be a saturation. But why in commercial vehicles is like this vehicles gives an employment to the people, and we have a dream to give an employment to any sector, as this vehicles can come into use of any kind of people who wants to start any kind of business, starting from the food carts to logistics to delivering the last mile delivery. These vehicles are the best business partners.
There's questions from Mr. Sports Shinde, like how fast it can be charged again, and what about the infrastructure for onboard chargers? Have you thought about it?
Yes. So fast charging for now, there are lithium-ion batteries used in the market, but there's another option called as battery swapping technologies, where this technology has been developed by Sun Mobility, and there are also more startups in this, but there are some limitations for this. Yes, battery swapping is just to give an idea to everyone. Battery swapping is just changing your discharged battery with the charged battery, and this charged battery can be used for your further commutation. But what happens is, here there's a limitation of battery standardization in every vehicle. If we consider battery swapping to all the companies, these companies have been not standardized themselves for the standardization of the batteries in it. So that is one thing. Second is the efficiency of the batteries. Like there are these various batteries have different efficiencies or the different lives. So if you are getting a life of or the charging of 60 kilometers on a single charge, and if you swap the batteries, there is a not possibility that they can give you same range. It could give you 40 or 30 or 50, any kind of thing.
And how much time is to full charge?
So in lead acid batteries, it takes 8 to 9 hours to charge, wherein option for this lithium-ion batteries, they take only 4 hours to charge.
Okay. There's one question from Mr. Sumit Dubal that have you thought about use of supercapacitor along with battery to take care of peak power requirement in vehicle?
Yes. So what is the thing is like the customer segment which we have been targeting. Those are the players which they work on initial cost and the liquid cash which they use. So initial cost is what they matter the most, and supercapacitors isn't good technology, but it could be an expensive part in the vehicles. So that is not what we are thinking for now.
And have you got any benefit from FAME India scheme?
Sorry?
Have you got any benefit from FAME India scheme?
Okay, so talking about FAME, there are this is the second part. FAME 2 has been launched, where they have been given many of the opportunities for or the subsidiaries to the electric vehicles, almost 5 lakh electric vehicles, where there are categories in electric 3-wheelers, then 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers, and buses. So in this, we come into L3 category. As in electric 3-wheelers or into 3-wheelers, there are 2 categories. One is L3, which are low-speed vehicles, and second is L5. They are high-speed vehicles. But these high-speed vehicles have more initial cost than the normal vehicles. That is almost 3.5 to 4 lakh rupees. So under FAME subsidy, those L5 vehicles are subsidized. So FAME subsidy has not like benefited to us till now. But yes, there was a state subsidy given to us, but it has also stopped from last.
I guess you got network issue.
Network issue.
Yeah. So if anyone has some questions from Mr. Swapnil, we can take it now. There is one question. Yeah, there is one question from Swapnil also, that what is the capital cost of shift to biomass stove for commercial use?
Yes, so there are 2 options actually that we offer. So one option what we do is now we are selling you 2 things. Either we sell you biomass stove and we also sell you biomass pellets. So the 2 options that we offer is that we will install the stove at your factory or at your premises, and we will take the payback from the cost of the pellets. For example, if I am installing the stove at your end at my cost, I will charge you 15 rupees for the pellets. But there is opposite thing. If you are ready to invest in the stores, then I will say that I will not charge you 15 rupees. I will charge you only 10 or 11 rupees for that. So basically we offer both the options. Either you invest in it and take pellet at lower cost, or else we will invest in it and then we will take the payback from the cost of the pellets from it.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, what is the major difference between the BS4 vehicles and the BS6 vehicles when the future market comes? Any difference in the nomenclature or any other thing in this, sir, from your experience?
So basically these are into emission norms. So many of the vehicles have been discarded from this, and basically they have been focused on emission norms for now. So BS6 is have been focused on how to lower the emissions, and that is in this electric vehicles are going to play a major role, as there's a new or that's not new, but the carbon credits, or there is a new concept. This is not new concept, but this is into considering to lower the greenhouse gases or the carbon oxide emissions from the vehicles or all the industries we can consider. So this is where it plays a bigger market to lower the emissions. So BS6 is mostly working on the emission, lowering the tailpipe emissions.
So in electric vehicle, the cost should be high, right?
Yes, electric vehicles have an initial cost higher just because of its power source, that is batteries. But if we consider the running cost, they are way more like cheaper as compared to normal vehicles. But what we are dealing into now, those are the low-speed commercial vehicles, which are cheaper also in running and the initial cost and also in the maintenance, where overall positivity in these vehicles is more.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Manali, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir. Please.
Hey, thanks, Vivek and Swapnil. Excellent presentation. Really proud of you guys. I think today we really felt great as Raha team that both the presentations were to the point and we finished on time, and really it showcases a great caliber and credentials of RIT Aluminium. I think these recordings will really help entire institute and all of us to document our progress and really innovative products and neat, clean, and very effective presentation. Thank you. My first question is to Swapnil, and I'll just complete my second question with Vivek also. Swapnil, while talking about biomass, do you have any experience with bamboo? Because it has been spoken a lot under National Bamboo Mission, and they talk a lot about these briquettes and pallets. So that is one for you. And second, Vivek, as part of RIT Aluminium Advisory thing, we have ventured into an e-bike project. Vyas is there. So we would like you to look at that project with Vyas, and because we want to commercialize that entire thing to help the Section 8 company, which we will be forming for RA, and it will fund the projects for students and all those things. So Vyas will give you inputs. So over to you, Swapnil and Vivek.
Yes, sir. So the question you asked was about bamboo actually. So what we try to do now, when I had started the project now, the reason for the project starting was like the idea started was why do these people burn this sugarcane trash, basically what we call it as patsat in Marathi. Why do we burn that? Can we use that for something? So the idea started from that thing actually. And then what our company principle, what we had kept, like many of the briquetting plants have failed in India. Maybe you would be also knowing many of the people have failed in this because they try to fetch too many raw materials out there. The rates have gone down, take that raw material, try that raw material. If it is successful, you send it to the customer. So the quality keeps on changing and everything keeps on changing. So we have strictly stick to a policy that we have only 3 raw materials throughout the year. For example, even if you visit the factory anytime, currently the sugarcane trash I'm talking, the main raw material, the current stock that we are consuming is around 10 to 12,000 tons in our premises itself. So 10,000 tons is that for next 6 months we don't have any problem of raw material, and this is the problem many of the people fetch out there. So what we try to do, bamboo is an option, but still we have kept it aside because we don't want to try to enter number of biomass at present. We want to build a customer base based on the quality itself for now.
I think very, very sensitive decision. Only thing, what is the raw material cost in that case for this parts?
So this basically there are local people who are working over this, and the delivered cost that we get at the factory, it is around 2,000 rupees per ton.
Oh, very good.
The cost is too low because we are basically a sugarcane belt. Actually, when you consider Islampur, Satara, Sangli, Kolhapur is the sugarcane belt actually. So the cost is very good actually here that we get. So we have focused only on sugarcane trash. That this is our main thing of our business is sugarcane trash.
I think you really gave me a very sensible answer because rightly pointed out, lots of people failed in briquettes and pellets because of this very important reason that they ventured into lots of raw materials. Thank you.
Hey, I have a question, and thanks Abha for connecting me, and I must thank Manali. I must thank Manzoor sir for bringing such great people here on our forum to talk. I really like both the speakers, Swapnil and Vivek. Swapnil, one question for you and one question for Vivek. This is Vyas. So Swapnil, one is that how can we help the northern part of the country where they have all this pollution because of crop burning that they do, the waste that they burn. Is there some possibility of converting, and using that biomass to pellets over there and finding some solutions over there? So if you can just answer that question for me.
Yeah, so what the thing is now, as I mentioned earlier also, that the pollution is a big problem actually, and segregation is equivalently big problem. Like to segregate the biomass, now there is a technology of New Holland that we are using for sugarcane trash. Same way, if you go in Haryana and everything, wheat and everything is there. So we need to collect that, and the machine needs to be developed in that way. Now there is another option, like the people there should take this initiative and do it. Like they should invest in the machines and they should do it there. And the second thing was that if you consider this biomass business, the ex-factory rates that we offer is around 10 rupees a kg. That is not a very big cost actually. But transporting something from here to another location, like out of state, like going to Delhi, for example, the product is of 10 rupees and the transportation cost is around 3 rupees. So somehow, the calculation will not fit anytime to send pellets from here to there. The option is that we need to set up a plant there itself and then use the local biomass that is available there. And the government, the Delhi government already subsidized that. The Indian government is already giving a subsidy of 6,000 crores in total for this same thing, that they are motivating people to convert their biomass. That now people in Haryana and all are setting up small pellet plants or briquette plants in their own farms. Like they invest around 5-6 lakh rupees and they invest it with the help of subsidies given by the government. So the scenario is changing.
Oh, good. So there is a good business potential over there, and that scenario is changing, you're saying?
Yeah, right.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I had a question. Yeah, I had a question for Vivek. Vivek, a really nice presentation, and we must connect about our e-vehicle project. And I know we are running out of time, so I might want to just take this offline with you and talk a little about battery technology and come back to you on that. So I don't want to take any more time because we are out of time right now. So I'll talk to you later about this. Thanks so much.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
So we are about to reach to 10:30. Just there is one request from Mr. Dr. Dhananjay Telang. He is interested in business association in Ichalkaranji with the EDMRC group. So we request you, sir, to connect with the team offline. We are providing their contacts, and you can also write to us on our mail.
Manali, last question, I think there was from Ved. Requested you to cover that if you can.
Yes.
Ved's question.
Ved, are you there?
Yeah, hi everyone. Vivek.
Yes.
Vivek.
Yes, sir.
Brilliant job, Vivek. Proud of you on every part.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Just one quick question. What is the investment required, ROI and equity that you're trying to offer at the moment?
Sure. We can do one thing. Post this call, I will share you the pitch for the same. So you'll get to know the deep insights for the same.
Okay.
Great.
So thank you, Swapnil and Vivek, for joining us with today, and to all of you, we will be finishing the call now. And please remember to register for our overseas sessions. And for any queries, write us to the provided mail. So thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Bye-bye.